Until the early morning hours, the Alaska House Resources Committee voted to forward an amended oil tax bill from their committee. SB 21, Governor Parnell's signature legislation aimed at reforming oil tax structures, has been with the committee for over 2 weeks.
Legislation approved by the Senate last month set the base rate at 35% and included a $5 allowance for each taxable barrel of oil produced. Amendments added by House Resources lowered the base rate to 33% and stipulates the $5 credit only applies to new oil and new production. House Resources co-chair Representative Eric Feige stated the committee work on the bill has been exhaustive.
We spent a considerable amount of time starting with our evaluation of House Bill 72, which was the original version of SB 21. We took what the other body passed over to us. I think we've given it I guess it would be a fourth committee look in the overall process. But we certainly looked at everything they did, and we added a few twists of our own.
Now, SB 21 heads to the House Finance Committee before moving eventually to the House floor for a vote. There are just 9 days left in the legislative session.
A man convicted of killing 2 Hoonah police officers in 2010 has been sentenced to 2 consecutive sentences of 99 years. John Marvin Jr. was convicted last November of first-degree murder in the deaths of Hoonah Police Sergeant Anthony Wallace and Officer Matthew Takuka. The 2 were gunned down in front of Marvin's home in the village of Hoonah on August 28, 2010. The sentence was handed down by Judge David George.
A 12-member jury has acquitted a 32-year-old North Pole area man on a host of felony charges that could have netted him a possible life prison term had he been convicted. During hearings earlier today, Jason Hanna was sentenced to time served on a misdemeanor assault conviction the lone charge jurors found him guilty of. Hanna had been charged with kidnapping, felony assault, and other crimes tied to a domestic dispute in August of 2012. According to a criminal complaint filed in state court, Alaska State troopers responded to a cabin off Badger Road after a witness had seen Hanna chase his girlfriend, catch her, and drag her back inside. Inside, they found the woman with a bloody, swollen face. Hanna had served close to a year in jail before he went to trial in the case.
Army Alaska announced today another major exercise held to
First training exercise that was canceled at Eielson Air Force. Another joint exercise scheduled this summer is also being put on.
The 2013 has been canceled.
Reductions.
Given current fiscal constraints and other competing operational priorities, this U.S. only to maintain the region.
The decision does not mean the end of
important part of our overall strategy to support U.S. national interests in the Asia-Pacific region.
Approximately 9,000 U.S. active duty and reserve component soldiers, sailors, and Marines, more than 200 aircraft from all services. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
So
Stephanie,
it's windy.
Yes, I was going to say.
Did I read your mind?
Well, kind of. You know, I lived in Minnesota for 3 years, and it's exactly like that feeling outside right now because of all the wind. Mike Schultz joins us now with a first look at weather. And Mike, when's the wind going to end?
Yeah, blustery is the word we're looking for. The wind is going to be actually dying down this evening. It'll be replaced by more clouds moving in. Maybe see a few flakes of snow tomorrow afternoon, but nothing to get excited about. Right now, temperatures around the interior are pretty consistent. The chilly air out to the west, Nenana at 12 degrees, 14 degrees in Denali Park. Meanwhile, here locally closer, we're looking at 15 to 16 degrees around the North Pole and Fairbanks, a little cooler at Fort Wainwright, and the same for Delta Junction, 14 degrees. Like I said, we are looking more clouds moving in. We'll show you about that on the satellite picture. In the lower 48, they're looking at some snow also. We'll talk about all the weather a little bit later on. Daryl, Stephanie?
Thank you, Mike. All right, well, when we come back, it may be a little early, but they're getting ready for the AFN convention.
And the annual Mush for Kids event this weekend. Stay with us.
This This edition of the Fairbanks Evening News is brought to you by Northland Hearing Services. Better hearing with a human touch. Kendall Auto of Fairbanks. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites. And by Spadard Builder Supply.
And welcome back. It has already been announced that the Alaska Federation of Natives Convention will return to the interior in October of 2013, but convention committee members are in town this week, already planning for the 2014 convention and beyond. The last time AFN had their convention in the Golden Heart City was 2010. Local leaders made their pitch for future conventions in Fairbanks during meetings held today at the Morris Thompson Cultural Center. Borough Mayor Luke Hopkins and City Mayor Jerry Clearworth joined representatives from the Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau and other organizations in commending the AFN board for making the decision to come back to Fairbanks. The Alaska State Chamber of Commerce estimates the convention brings about $4 million into the local economy. Reached for comment this morning at the Morris Thompson Cultural Center. Committee members spoke about future AFN locations.
We are contemplating the future years convention, not just this year. That's already decided. We're going to be here in Fairbanks 2013, but we need to decide where our conventions are going to be in 2014 as well as 2015. So we did have a presentation from Anchorage and a presentation from Fairbanks today.
And this is for 2014?
Yeah, 2014.
And we'll have more on this story tomorrow during the Saturday editions of the Fairbanks Evening News and News Center Final.
One Fairbanks man is racking up the miles and not on his vehicle. Billy Koich has ridden his fat tire bike almost 2,000 miles this winter. His mileage began at the start of the original Iditarod Trail, the Nick Roadhouse, February 21st, and he made it to Nome by March 17th. He then followed the Iron Dog Trail from Nome to Fairbanks, leaving March 19th. Today, he will be arriving in Fairbanks from Tanana. So far on his journey, he has pushed through sub-zero temps, winds up to 50 miles per hour, and across the frozen Bering Sea. Koich says he wants to inspire the next generation of Alaskan kids to get out there and have an Alaskan adventure.
A researcher from Fairbanks who was conducting testing on a glacier fell through a crevasse yesterday. Tom Douglas, age 41, was leading a group of snow machiners on Jarvis Glacier when he and his machine fell through a snow bridge. Douglas was conducting research for Delta Soil and Water Conservation when the incident occurred. He reportedly fell between 75 to 80 feet before landing on a ledge, with his snow machine landing only 30 feet above him. Douglas was extricated from the crevasse shortly before 11:30 p.m. He was uninjured and reunited with the research team in Delta, according to a trooper report.
A Bethel senator says Alaskans deserve better than a proposal to eliminate the ability of individuals or groups to apply for water reservations. Senator Lynn Hoffman says that flies in the face of the Constitution. His comments came during a Senate hearing Thursday on HB 77. Governor Sean Parnell's bill is aimed at improving Alaska's permitting process. Now, critics say it could hurt public participation in permitting decisions. One of the more controversial provisions would no longer allow individuals or groups to apply for water reservations to maintain or protect water levels for things like fish habitat protection. Natural Resources Commissioner Dan Sullivan said the bill is part of a reform effort to benefit all Alaskans. Senate Finance Committee co-chair Kevin Meyer is considering appointing a subcommittee to study the issue further.
We should not be doing that here today. And the state of Alaska should not even, the administration should not even be asking us to do that. The Constitution allows us to do that. And for us to reduce the rights of the citizens of the state is not what I was elected to. I need to protect those rights.
Tomorrow, the yelping of sled dogs will resonate at Pioneer Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as part of the annual Mush for Kids event. Dog sled rides, puppy petting, games, music, and displays will be featured inside the Civic Center. The event is an opportunity for parents and kids to work and play together. The Alaska Children's Trust is the driving force behind Mush for Kids, promoting their mission of preventing child abuse and neglect throughout the state. The organization endeavors to make the public aware of this problem and feel this event helps to communicate their message.
The Alaska Children's Trust has been around for over 2 decades, and the whole idea of the trust was to prevent child abuse and neglect. So we do awareness, we do convening, and we're also catalysts for change within our state. Mush for Kids is a great opportunity for families to come out and hopefully enjoy some warm weather, and more importantly, a great opportunity to hang out with the dogs and be with their families.
Simple fact that if there's snow on the ground, then that means spring sports are still practicing indoors right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's not a good thing. But, you know, we have a couple of teams that have been dormant the past couple of years, but, you know, they're back on the field this season. You know, you're going to find out who they are. And you're going to see some of the costumes at the superhero-themed 78th International Bonspiel. Favorite superhero?
I'm a superhero.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Superwoman. Hello.
Well, they weren't there. See who was. Stick around for sports. Hello, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here in the sports seat for you this evening. It's Friday, a nice weekend ahead, but let's talk sports first. Tonight, we talk about another re-emerging program in high school sports. Already this month, we learned of Hutchinson High School fielding a baseball team for the first time, and their softball team is preparing for just their second season. Another 3A school, Monroe, is directing its soccer program. The Rams haven't had a soccer team for boys or girls in about 2 years. Scott Tompkins, a former Hutchinson soccer coach, takes over Monroe's program. The girls' soccer team has a good mix of veterans and promising newcomers. The Rams have 4 seniors on this year's team, and freshman Brianna Lundgren, who has shown some skill and potential. But instead of the usual goals of winning a championship, this team wants to experience what playing sports is all about.
Definitely having fun. That's my main goal, at least. And I'm hoping we all work really hard and everyone has fun, because that's what sports are for.
They're doing pretty good right now. We haven't learned much about the game because we're indoors, so it's kind of hard. But they're doing a lot. They're doing really good on their like background skills and everything. So it's pretty good.
They're really nice, and they just kind of like help you get along with like the whole team, and they welcome you like your family.
We'd like to just get the ball rolling. A lot of these girls are pretty green, and we also have some comp players. So we'll just see how the season plays out. But we just want to get in there and be competitive this year.
Now, for Monroe's boys soccer team, you have head coach Scott Tompkins pulling double duty. Yep, Tompkins heads both the boys and the girls soccer teams at Monroe. The boys soccer program has also been dormant the last couple of years, but they have rejuvenated the program with some dedicated individuals. A number of players who play soccer are also on the track team. There are 15 players on the roster, but since the Big C Relays is going on this weekend in Anchorage, there were only 6 players at the Rams practice last night, but a couple of freshmen were not deterred and feel optimistic and excited about this team as a whole and this restart for Monroe soccer.
It's our first year in a while. I think we're going to do some damage this year. We got a lot of freshmen, but we also got 3 seniors that are really good. We got like 5 comp players, and we got a lot of speed.
First year in high school, it's good to get familiar with the older classmen and, just play soccer.
We are brand new, so we've got to get our fundamentals down, and more than that, we need to work together as a team. We need to learn each other's skills and weaknesses, and we're still trying to melt together. My coaching approach is get them in shape, teach them the fundamentals, spread them out, talk to them, get them communicating, and we'll just see how it rolls out.
And an update on a story back in March on some local riflers. 3 Lathrop shooters, sophomores J.T. Sneering and Connor Gilliam and senior Casey Barnes have qualified for the USA Shooting National Junior Olympic Championships in Colorado Springs. The Junior Olympics start next Tuesday for Barnes for women's air rifle. On the 16th and 17th are the men's matches. The Malamutes will be shooting in front of college coaches while going up against some of the top competition. So good luck to them next week. And the 78th International Bonspiel kicked off last night at the Fairbanks Curling Club, starting a weekend full of curling action. A good crowd was at hand for the superhero-themed event. You even had Bob Ely from the Newsminer talking with one of the Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, I believe. Raphael was my favorite. Some of the curlers donned some costume as well. Snidely Whiplash from the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons was curling, as was the Moth. Yeah, the Moth from the cartoon The Tick. And this guy, he just made up a superhero to get in on the fun. This is a round-the-clock bonspiel with the games going on right now and continuing through Sunday for the championships. 35 teams are in this year's bonspiel with 25 men's teams and 10 women's teams. We caught up with a couple of local curlers and asked them about the atmosphere of this event, which marks the end of the curling season.
The bonspiel is a blast every year. It's like the biggest party in Fairbanks this weekend, and you get to curl, which is actually a blast. Yeah, we get into all aspects of it, on the ice and off the ice, festivities.
This is the event, man. I haven't even curled in a year, and I wasn't going to miss Bonspiel for the world. I could do it every year, 3 years in a row. It's still 1 million people here, and the beers are still coming, and it's just a blast. People are walking around in spandex, throwing stones across the ice. What more can you ask for?
And it's kind of weird not having an Ice Dogs game tonight, but they'll be back in the Big Dipper next week for playoff hockey against the Brown Bears. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. For more KTVS sports, go to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and get our mobile app. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's Fbx Evening News, and it's time once again for our weather segment. Mike Schultz with you, starting off with our photograph. This one's sent in by Bill Cody. A little bit of humor here. Cody says this is the new Salt Lick at mile 39 on the Chena Hot Springs Road. Look at all 3 of those moose down there. Well, it could be. Who knows? Anyway, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to me at MikeSchultz@KTVF11.com. Well, what's going on temperature-wise? You can see our high today, only 20 degrees. As right now, 16 degrees, low last night 8, and the wind chill factor was right around 10 to 15 below all day long. Record high 56, 1940, record low 30 below 1911, sunrise 6:52, sunset not quite 9 o'clock this evening, giving us 14 hours and 7 minutes of daylight, again as 7 minutes from yesterday. What's going on in the satellite picture? Things are starting to happen now. You see the clouds starting to clear, a little thicker coming in from western Canada, and we also have a pretty good area of low pressure that's going to be developing right around the Kodiak Island area, moving into Prince William Sound, which is a favorite place to get snow, at least for Anchorage, not necessarily for us, but for Anchorage. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. As you can see across the state today, we had a little rain shower activity around Ketchikan, clouds at Cold Bay, and the rest of the state looking pretty good. Lots of sunshine everywhere you look, but cool temperatures, 2 below at Barrow and 2 above at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather tonight, heading on down there. We're looking at some more rain across the Pacific Northwest, also rain moving into the Central Plains. Other than that, not too much going on. On the satellite radar, you can see a little more moisture moving across, frozen moisture in the Great Lakes, and more of activity moving across the Pacific Northwest, a pretty good storm system there. And the jet stream is going to be taking a different change in the next week. It's actually going to be, once again, diving way down to the south, which means it pulls lots of cold air all the way down to the, around Arizona and New Mexico, and then runs across the east coast with nice weather to the south. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Isolated flurries for Barrow, sunny in Nome, and cloudy skies at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we're looking at cloudy skies with afternoon flurries at Fairbanks and Healy. Maybe a chance of snow in Healy, though. And as far as the southeast, wind and rain in Juneau, with rain increasing for Ketchikan. Over the southwest, we're looking at partly cloudy skies at Bethel, mostly sunny for Cold Bay, but rain and snow in Kodiak. And here's the difference here. Look at south central Alaska, snow developing for Anchorage, snow showers at Homer and Valdez. Anchorage could have by Sunday close to 10 inches of snow. And it's supposed to be getting close to spring, right? All right, it's a Friday night, which means it's time for our Winter Trails Report from the folks at Beaver Sports. Cool temperatures will continue through the weekend, but should not prohibit any outdoor activities. Slopes will be great, along with trails throughout the interior, and of course, good for you snow machiners, too. Here's our forecast for the remainder of the night. 2 degrees below zero. Winds will be decreasing. That's the good news, with mostly clear skies. But tomorrow, we're looking at 20 degrees and cloudy and not as cold with afternoon flurries, but still good for much for kids for the all-day long activities there. Here's your 5-day outlook. As you can see here, 25 on Sunday, but then slowly increasing. The 40s are gone that we were talking about last night. Unfortunately, where the cool air is going to stick around a little bit longer. Still, temperatures will be in the mid-30s, which isn't too bad. And the overnight lows will also be very comfortable, at least in the teens above zero, and no more precipitation expected after Sunday.
40s.
Yeah, we were looking for that. Really wanted it in the worst way.
40s.
Unfortunately.
That's okay.
Exactly. See what I was saying? They tease you.
Yeah.
Always.
That's why it's weather.
All right. Thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fbx Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, a judge orders the FDA to make over-the-counter emergency contraception available to girls of all ages. Now that's next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week or online anytime at webcenter11.com. And don't forget, this is the last day to get your Ice Classic tickets.
Yeah. You guys get your picks in?
Not yet.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. I'm not too lucky when it comes to that. I should, though.
That will do it from all of us here at the News Center. We'll see you back here at 11. If we don't, have a great weekend. Otherwise, we'll see you at 11 o'clock.
Those are the two options.
That's right, your options.
Have a
right.
good weekend, or we'll see you at 11.
Maybe. We'll be here. Or not.